What is up, guys, and welcome back to part 33 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the German Grand Prix. If you missed season 1 and of course the first 11 rounds of season 2, then you can click the little card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens to go catch up with everything that's happened over my career mode so far. But we're here in Germany, which was a race that we did really well at last season in season 1. It was a bit of a surprise. It was a little bit lucky as well that some of the AI guys got held up, so we'll be hoping for a bit of luck here today. But we have a really good car, really good solid package on our Renault that we could possibly challenge for another race win here today. Hopefully it happens, because we do want to improve from that third position that we got in season 1. But yeah, we're not too sure at the moment, but we have a few upgrades to talk about, so let's head over to Chris and see what he has to say.
Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
So last time out at the Hungarian Grand Prix, we decided that it was about time that we upgraded our car. We had enough resource points to reduce the drag on our car. So that's what we decided to go ahead and do. And we have now maxed out the upgrade levels on the drag on our car, which is absolutely fantastic. And before we get into, and it's really going to help us in tracks like Belgium, Italy, and of course today's race in Germany as well. And then when we get to Singapore, we'll start to think about the downforce, the chassis weight, and then after that the fuel efficiency as well. But Mercedes have unfortunately upgraded their car as well, which puts them above us in the research and development, which is a little bit unfortunate. We are not the best team in Formula 1 still. You know, Toro Rosso, we managed to overtake those guys, and now Mercedes have gone above us. So it's a little bit of leapfrogging going on there between the three of our three teams. So hopefully within the next couple of races we can get some more upgrades and jump above Mercedes, stay ahead of Toro Rosso and Ferrari as well, of course. But let's see if this makes a difference to our car as we head into practice.
Guten Tag and welcome to Hockenheim, home of the German Grand Prix, for today's practice session. It's a big weekend for a number of our top drivers as they look for success on home soil. We'll be getting underway shortly to see how they get on.
Here we are then in the practice session, just going through our track acclimatization at the moment, and we managed to get a purple score in this one, which was absolutely fantastic. Weaving the wheel in celebration, we love to see a bit of that going on. Then we decided to do the tyre wear management in FP1 as well. We managed to get another purple score on that one, so everything is going really well in terms of getting as many resource points as we possibly can in the practice sessions. Then that was the end of FP1, so we decided to do our qualifying pace in FP2. So we managed to get 6th position in FP1 on those soft tyres, which is really good. But Nico Rosberg and Danny Kvyat getting 1st and 2nd on the medium tyres, so we do need to watch out for those guys. And then we headed out on track in FP2, went and did the qualifying run, and we got a purple score, was it? Yes, there we go. We did manage to get the purple score at the end of the day, which is really good. And that's going to get us even more resource points in this practice session. I mean, we've got about 160 resource points thanks to this session, so that's really good. And we end the session at the top of the timesheet, so that sets us up really well for qualifying. Hopefully we can carry on that momentum throughout the rest of the race weekend and possibly go on to get the race win. Pascal Wehrlein up in 4th position as well. You know, he was on the super soft tyres, whereas some of the other guys only ran mediums, softs, and of course from 12 below all ran intermediate. So there's not too much to take into with that 4th place, but still it's a really good result for Pascal Wehrlein, and Manor could be a team that score a solid result here today. So let's head over to the qualifying sessions.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheim ring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying.
Here we are then in today's qualifying session. Now, getting into Q2 should be really easy now. You know, we have got a very good car. It challenges for pole positions now. So getting into Q2 should be really easy. So should getting into Q3. And then it's really going to be that battle for the top 10. So we're going to head on track, get through Q1, get through Q2, and see what happens in Q3. Right then, here we are going over our first lap in this qualifying session, just trying to get Q1 out of the way. We come down towards the line for a 1:16.494, which is only good enough for 3rd position at the moment, but heading into later on in the session when we go out for another lap, we run out of fuel when we're actually 4 tenths up on our previous best. We still managed to improve 1 tenth faster than our previous best lap time, and we're in 4th position at the moment. That should be enough. Yes, it is. It is enough to get us out of Q1 and into Q2. So exactly what I said, getting into Q2 will be very easy. I mean, we managed to get into 8th on a lap that we ran out of fuel on. So we're looking really positive to get maybe pole position here today. Jolyon Palmer getting in 2nd, which is really good news as well. So yeah, we're just going to head into Q2, see what we can do there, and here we are on our first lap in this qualifying session. We just wanted to go out for one lap just so that we didn't burn out the tyres, because we will be using these tyres in the race. We managed to set a 1:15.863, our best lap of the race weekend so far. So far, good enough for first, but then the other guys go and set some laps, and that bumps us down into third position. But we're into Q3, and we are now in the battle for the top 10 as well. And here we are coming out on track for our first lap in this third qualifying session, down towards the line. What sort of time is it going to be good enough for? It's only good enough for a 1:15.802, still our best lap time of the weekend so far, but just a little bit off of Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel. And then we go out for our second and final lap in this qualifying session, down towards the line. What is the time good enough for? It's a 1:15.063, a really good lap here at this German Grand Prix, and that was enough to get us pole position in this German Grand Prix, exactly where we wanted to start the race from. So that's really going to help us in this German Grand Prix to get pole position and lead from the front. So going through the rest of the standings, we're in pole position, and alongside us is Lewis Hamilton in his Mercedes. Right behind us is Carlos Sainz with Nico Rosberg in 4th, Sebastian Vettel in 5th, and my championship rival Kimi Räikkönen down in 6th position. Daniel Ricciardo starts the race in 7th with Danny Kvyat, his former teammate, alongside him in 8th, with Jolyon Palmer, my teammate, in 9th, and Valtteri Bottas getting into the top 10, so a good result for Williams there. So we'll be hoping to get a really good result in the race. We're starting from pole position, so yeah, anything below a podium is considered a really bad result. So we need to get a podium in this race, but we would prefer to get the race win, because obviously we started in pole position. So we should get the race win here today. But without any further ado, let's head over to the race for the German Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome to a place that is very special to us all in the Formula One community. It's the Hockenheim Ring, home of the German Grand Prix. Always good for a close scrap is Hockenheim. Think back to Alonso, Ricciardo, Vettel as recently as 2014, and I'm expecting some more strong racing today. We're racing in the Rhine Valley this weekend at the home of many of the sport's finest competitors. The 2.8-mile Hockenheim Ring requires precision through the technical stadium section and great raw speed down the long, flat-out curve towards the popular overtaking zone of the Turn 6 hairpin. Watch out for a lot of wheel-to-wheel action there today. A tough race in store then for our drivers today, so tell me, Anthony Davidson, what will you be looking out for as the cars make their way down into Turn 1?
Well, first of all, let's hope that everyone's well behaved and we can have a nice incident-free start. That initial release is going to be the most interesting thing. And the clean side of the grid will be better rubbered in, so keep an eye out for cars over there potentially making their way through.
Okay, remember to protect the inside on the run down to turn 1. Make yourself as wide as possible, robust but fair.
It's race day here at the German Grand Prix, starting in a fantastic pole position, which sets us up really well for today's race, and hopefully we can carry this on and go and get the race win as well. We need to make sure we have a really good start in order to keep that. Looking at the race strategy for today's race though, at the moment they want us to go for a 3-stop strategy, but the tyre wear management means that we could possibly go for a 2-stopper. However, tyre wear is really bad here, so I think I'm going to stick to the 3-stopper for now, and if I can make the tyres last, then we will decide to change on a later date. But it just depends what the other drivers do as well. You know, if they're going for a 3-stopper, we'll stick with that one. If they go for a 2-stopper, we may have to try and match those guys, otherwise we could lose out massively. But here we are on the starting grid for the race. The lights coming on now, 5 red lights. And it's lights out for the German Grand Prix, and it's a bad start compared to Lewis Hamilton, who goes up the inside, down in towards turn 1. Can he hold up the inside? Yes, he can. We're getting squeezed to the outside of turn 1. Yellow flag at the moment. Something has happened down in towards the first corner, but down in towards turn 2. Round the outside, Lewis Hamilton braking a little bit too early compared to the Mercedes driver. Danny Kvyat is out of the race. He has been involved with the incident with another driver who is currently back there, but down this long back straight, following in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton, pulling over to the right-hand side now, getting the inside down in towards the hairpin. Can we get the job done? We've got the job done before we've even got to the corner, but Lewis Hamilton trying to stick it around the outside. We're going to squeeze him out as much as we possibly can, but there we go, up into the lead of the German Grand Prix, but Lewis Hamilton has had a very good drive out of that hairpin, going down in towards the next couple of corners. I don't think he's going to get the job done, and that is the lead for the German Grand Prix. Let's have a look at a replay then of what happened at the start. There was a yellow flag, so there was definitely an incident. Danny Kvyat did crash out, so here we are watching on board with the Toro Rosso driver, going down in towards turn 1. He gets a little nick there from the Williams of Felipe Massa, comes back onto the track, goes into the path of Nico Hülkenberg, who puts him straight into the barrier. Not too sure what Danny Kvyat was thinking there when he came back onto the racing line, but here's a watch on board with Danny Kvyat now. So a lot of tyre smoke coming off of my grid spot, going down in towards turn 1. He doesn't get off to the best of starts, holds the inside line, drifts out wide, has a little bit of contact there with the Williams of Felipe Massa, comes straight into the path of Nico Hülkenberg, puts him into the wall, and that is how Danny Kvyat's race ended before it had even started. On board now with the Force India of Nico Hülkenberg. So let's have a look at what happened on board from him. And going down in towards turn 1, you can see his teammate over on the left-hand side, Sergio Perez, getting off to an awful start, but then holds it round the outside of Nico Hülkenberg. There's Danny Kvyat coming back into the path of Nico Hülkenberg, and Nico Hülkenberg just had nowhere to go. You just hardly saw it coming. He literally just came out of nowhere. So very, very disappointing for the Force India driver for his race to pretty much be over right at the beginning. But here we are on board with myself, coming into the pit stop for my first pit in this race, and getting braked for the line there on the start of lap 6. Lewis Hamilton deciding not to come into the pits at the moment. He might be coming into the pits within the next couple of laps. We do need to be aware of that. Looks like we're getting to get held up by the Toro Rosso driver of, I think, well, it is Carlos Sainz, because Danny Kvyat is out of the race. But that means we lost quite a lot of positions. We've lost out to the McLaren of Fernando Alonso, who we probably could have got had we not been held up by Carlos Sainz there. So a little bit disappointing, but nevertheless, we're now going to push on, try and catch up to Fernando Alonso, and hopefully get the overtake done within the next couple of corners. And here we are right at the end of lap 6. Fernando Alonso getting held up there by a lot of the guys coming into the pits on this lap, following in the slipstream of the McLaren driver, going down in towards turn 1. We brake a little bit early in towards turn 1 so we can have a really good acceleration down in towards turn 2. We've got the drive, got the inside line, got the DRS, and there we go, job done in towards turn 2, and we are up into P9 now for this German Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton has now had a pit stop, so he's come out ahead of Jenson Button at the moment, so he's only a little bit further up the road. So we cut the corner just a little bit down in towards turn 2, and here we are following in the slipstream of Jenson Button. Can we possibly go in for a move up the inside? Yes, we can. Having a little look, Jenson Button gives us the room there into turn 2, and now we are up into P5. A great move up the inside of the McLaren driver. And up next for us is Romain Grosjean and Esteban Gutierrez, who look like they're having a little bit of a ding-dong battle down in towards the hairpin. We're going to take a wider line, try and have a cutback move, and try and get both of these guys in the space of one straight. We've had a good drive out of the corner side by side with Esteban Gutierrez through the right hander. Is he going to give us the room? Yes, he is. And then we switch over to the left hand side. Yes, we do. Up the inside of Romain Grosjean as well. An amazing double overtake there on both the Haas drivers, switching from the right to the left to get past both those. A brilliant move, and we are now into third position, hunting down the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Can we possibly get him and get the lead of the race back? So we're on board with the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg at the moment. So he's following behind Carlos Sainz right now. So it looks like one of the Haas drivers comes into the pits, going down the start-finish straight at the moment, following behind Carlos Sainz, going down in towards turn 2 now, and there's been a front right puncher there for Nico Rosberg. Disaster for the Mercedes driver to get a puncher at this stage of the lap as well. He's got to do a whole lap on this punctured set of tyres, and that's going to put him right to the back of the fields. We're on board with Max Verstappen at the moment, going down the start-finish straight, starting lap 15. No, he's not. His engine has gone. Max Verstappen is out of today's German Grand Prix. He's pulled over to the left-hand side, and that is the end of the Red Bull drivers race. Very, very disappointing for him as we cut ahead to lap 19. Now going in for our second pit stop in this race. We currently lead the pack at the moment as Lewis Hamilton came into the pits on the previous lap. Gets in the car, pitted, stopped before the line there, making sure that we don't get a drive-through penalty. And here we are coming in for our second pit stop of the day. It should be a lot quicker than the first one because we won't be held up by any drivers behind us. However, we have lost our position to Lewis Hamilton, who comes through turn 1 now. No, that's Rio Haryanto who comes through turn 1 now. He's actually in second position at the moment in this German Grand Prix, doing an amazing job for Manor, but that's not too much of a surprise. We saw him do a great job in Austria at a circuit like this one, which is which depends very much on straight line speed. And here we are on board with Lewis Hamilton leading the race at the moment on lap 23. Looks like he's come up to a lot of back markers holding him up, and that's really going to help us in terms of just allowing us to catch up to the Mercedes driver in this race, being held up by 3 drivers at the moment who are all just boxing him in. There is no way through at the moment for Lewis Hamilton. Looks like Sergio Perez and Nico Rosberg have a problem at the moment on lap 23 of this race. They're just holding each other up. Fernando Alonso trying to get past as well. He pulls over to one side, actually goes into the back of Sergio Perez there, gets a little bit of front wing damage. Lewis Hamilton finds his way through those 2 guys, and then he finds his way through Sergio Perez and Nico Rosberg as well. I cut a little bit of turn 1 there. Little apologies for that. I just got my braking point wrong as we catch up to Nico Rosberg and Sergio Perez, who once again going very, very slowly at the moment. We pull over to the left-hand side, get past both these guys very, very easily, and that helps us a lot that we got past those very, very quickly, because they were obviously holding up Lewis Hamilton for quite a while in this race. We're on board with Nico Hülkenberg, who looks like he is now catching up to Nico Rosberg and Sergio Perez as well. Going down in towards turn 2. No! He's gone into the back of Nico Rosberg, lost his front left tyre, and that is Nico Hülkenberg out of today's German Grand Prix. Our 3rd DNF of the race. Disaster there for the Force India driver. Going down in towards turn 2. Let's have a look on board with him. What happened exactly here? He just goes into the back of Nico Rosberg as he tries to switch in between, kind of like what I did against Esteban Gutierrez and Roman Grosjean. He tried to do the same, but there just wasn't enough room for the Force India driver, and unfortunately he just got a little touch there on the rear right of Nico Rosberg's car, and loses his front left tyre. But here we are coming into the pits for our 3rd and final pit stop in this race. Going on to the Supersoft tyres, that's going to lose us a lot of positions, but we should be able to come back through the field on these faster tyres, because obviously a lot of the guys are trying to make their tyres last till the end of the race, whereas we just couldn't. I mean, our tyre was at 60% when we came into the pits. To make them last another 4 laps, we might have been able to do it, but I think Carlos Sainz would have probably got us anyway. So we come out the pits at the moment on lap 30 on this set of Supersoft tyres, now really trying to hunt down the rest of the fields. We're on board with the Ferrari driver of Kimi Raikkonen, going through the last couple of corners on lap 29 at the moment, catching up to his teammate Sebastian Vettel as well. So could we see a battle between the 2 Ferraris emerge at the end of the race? Going down in towards turn 1 at the moment. No, we won't. Kimi Raikkonen, my championship rival, is out of the German Grand Prix. That's really going to help me in terms of points in the championship. Him scoring 0, me scoring at least 15 points in this championship as we cut ahead to the end lap 34 at the moment. Currently running in 3rd position, with Ria Haryanto catching us up in the background there in 4th. So we need to make sure that we stay ahead of him, make sure that we don't make any mistakes on this final lap of the German Grand Prix, coming through the last couple of corners now. But unfortunately, we just couldn't catch up to Carlos Sainz. We were catching him up, but it just wasn't enough to get him by the end of the race, and the 3-stop strategy definitely was not the way to go. But unfortunately, we just struggled we just struggled a lot with tyre wear. We just couldn't make the tyres last, and it really affects us in this race. As you can see, we've gone from 2nd, we've gone from 1st down to 2nd, and then down to 3rd, mainly due to pit stops. So a little bit disappointing there, but we come through the final corner nevertheless, and we are going to take home a fantastic 3rd position at the German Grand Prix.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Brilliant stuff from Mercedes today. That's another historic win. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So a decent race there at the German Grand Prix, getting another podium and getting 15 points compared to my championship rival, Kimi Räikkönen, who did not finish in today's race. Going through the race standings, Lewis Hamilton, he wins his first race for quite a while, if I'm honest. Mercedes now really starting to win races as well, and hopefully for the competition-wise, they can come back in the championships and we might be able to have a little battle with Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes, of course. Carlos Sainz, he finished in second, getting a great result there for Toro Rosso. We finished in third, Rio Haryanto in fourth position, showing that that manor is quick and it can definitely score points in its career mode. Felipe Massa, he finished in fifth, with my teammate Jolyon Palmer getting some good points here today, finishing in sixth. Valtteri Bottas in seventh, Daniel Ricciardo in eighth, Sebastian Vettel in ninth, and Romain Grosjean rounding out the top 10 and getting the final World Championship point for today's race. Let's have a look at how this affects us in the drivers' standings. And we have extended our lead at the top to 43 points in the championship, doing a solid job at the moment. And now we're starting to get to the halfway stage of the season. Well, we are at the halfway stage. We're over the halfway stage of the season, so we can now start to think about the championship, and we do not want to make that 43-point lead slip. But we're getting more towards the stage of races where we struggled last season. After Italy, we didn't have the best of races in season one. I think Singapore was a bad one, then Japan was bad, the USA was bad, Brazil wasn't the greatest, neither was Mexico, and Abu Dhabi, we had that collision with the Manor as well. So we're getting to the stage where we may start to drop points. So we've done a really good solid job for the first part of the season. Hopefully that carries on into Belgium and Italy, but then for the rest of the season we may struggle to get some decent results. But let's have a look at how this affects us in the constructors standings though. And in the constructors standings, we have extended our lead at the top to 31 points over Ferrari at the moment. We're doing a really good job for Renault, and hopefully we can keep this up and possibly even win the Constructors' Championship. You know, if we win the Constructors and we win the Drivers' Championship as well, and also fully upgrade the car, then we may consider leaving Renault at the end of the season. Have a new challenge maybe with the likes of Red Bull Racing, who haven't had the best of seasons, and the research and development is definitely lacking behind. But we'll just have to wait and see for a couple of races in the future whether we decide to do that or not. But that is it for today's German Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Taking a quick look at the rivalry update after today's German Grand Prix, and we have absolutely smashed Nico Rosberg in this German Grand Prix weekend. 15-5 at the moment in just one weekend is absolutely amazing. So hopefully we can carry that on and go and win it, possibly at the Belgian Grand Prix. I mean, we've already filled up half of the rivalry, so that is really good as well. Looking at resource points, we have 1,000, but that is not enough to upgrade our downforce, let alone the chassis weight, which is the one that we do want to upgrade, hopefully before the Italian Grand Prix. But that is it for today's German Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel if you are new around here. We're going to have this career mode coming to you every single day for the whole of Season 2. And of course, if you are subscribed to my channel, then you never have to miss an episode from me. But I will see you next time at the Belgian Grand Prix. Until then, though, it's goodbye from me.